right, we're back. Football pod. A little weekend recap. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Carolina stinks in football. They're awful. We had to start it off talking about Carolina because they're awful. I think another game happened. Did anything happen in Columbus, Dylan?
Yeah, the mall opened early for Black Friday. I think JT Barrett was up there signing autographs.
Was he ringing the little Salvation Army bell outside?
Yeah, he was dressed up as Santa Claus taking donations from people in maize and blue. No, huge game. And it was, as a Michigan fan, it was everything I could have asked for. We piled it on. And I was watching with Ohio State fans, and they were going crazy that first drive when they scored that touchdown. It's like, yeah, that's not going to happen all game. So, great win. I'm glad it's more of a rivalry again. On a serious note, Ohio State dominated it forever. But this is really, to me, a turning of the tide. We heard all these stories about Ohio State commits decommitting and then committing to Michigan after seeing that game, being at that game. Good for the Big Ten, good for the rivalry. I'm hoping we get to play them again in the playoff.
It was everything you mentioned it would be in this game. Michigan bullied them. And the crazy thing is, Michigan beat them at their own game. J.J. McCarthy threw 3 50-yard plus balls. He hasn't thrown more than what? I think his furthest was 54 yards this year.
It had to have been. And I'll put my hand up. I was kind of wrong about this because I said if Blake Corum didn't play, then we were kind of screwed. And that wasn't the case at all. We ended up throwing the ball really well. Donovan Edwards, some great runs, he's a great running back, but I didn't expect that from him. So it was good. We're supposed to have Corum back for this week. Hopefully he can. I'd rather him honestly not play and try to get healthy for the playoff. But yeah, great win. Sad to be an Ohio State fan. Sorry about
it. Ryan Day. What happens with Ryan Day now?
Oh, he stays, and then I'll be honest.
He should stay.
100%. It's the same thing that happened to Jim Harbaugh when he started at Michigan, and everybody was so quick to call for his job when, he was going out and he was getting 10-win seasons left and right. Ryan Day will be fine. I don't think he should lose his job. But the fans on both sides are really crazy. If you can't beat Ohio State or Michigan, no matter what side you're on, then people are going to be calling for your job. But Ryan Day should stay there. And again, not me trying to be funny because, we have kind of owned him since he's been there. He'll figure it out, and I'm not worried about that.
It's kind of hard to call for a coach's job when you've been as successful as Ohio State. Like, if you're literally just basing it on the rivalry, then you're not really thinking about the entire season, and you're not really thinking about the team as a whole.
And
the counterpoint to that is 2 games matter to Ohio State: Michigan and the national title.
Yep.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
And with the kind of recruits they're getting, they should be winning those games.
Let's get one of Ryan Day's quarterbacks in there. He's been dealing with Stroud the last 2 years, and I know I like to make fun, but he's not that top-tier quarterback to lead the team. He kind of got stuck with him. So we'll see once maybe McCord comes in or one of his guys comes in, see if he can do any better.
Absolutely.
It's going to be interesting.
Sorry to interrupt, Grant, but real quick on CJ Stroud. This was worst case scenario because now he's going to be the 2 or 3 pick, 2, 3, 4, 5 pick. And that means he might end up in Charlotte.
He's going to look great in Carolina blue. Oh,
because the counterpoint to that is the Panthers are winning the division. We'll get into that in the NFL. But anything else on this Ohio State-Michigan game?
No, I was just going to comment on the coaching, Ryan Day stuff. If you think about it, the whole reason why Kyle Whittingham is still coaching at the University of Utah is because he was able to be his rival BYU on a consistent basis. Like, he was absolute garbage. When they transitioned from the Mountain West to the Pac-12, he was consistently not going to bowl games. They're consistent under 500, but the only reason he stayed there is because, like you mentioned, that big game that they kept winning. So now arguably he's a top 5, top 10 coach in college football. People absolutely love him. So, like you said, you never really know. It'll be interesting, like you said, Dylan, when we see him with a new quarterback, like what you talked about, one of his guys to see in there. But at a certain point, there's going to be some questions raised if he keeps losing some of these big games, especially like you said, the rivalry game. Like, if that continues to happen, there's not going to be a lot of patience with Ohio State.
Yeah,
if he keeps these 10-win seasons up, he'll buy himself a little bit of time, even if he keeps losing. But I don't see him having any more than 4 or 5 years if he can't beat Michigan until then.
Exactly.
This might be a hot take. I think if he loses to Michigan next year and they don't make the college football playoff, I think they fire him. I don't think people can handle that at Ohio State.
That'd be what, 3 years?
Yeah.
3 years in a row? Yeah, that's rough, bro. Ever since the COVID year, yeah.
So anyhow, moving on from the Ohio State-Michigan game, NC State rolls into Chapel Hill, and Drake May is not that good now? What happened?
Here's the thing. He's had an ungodly first, 4/5 of the season so far. And so he was due for a couple bad games. And the thing about Carolina is, I said this last time, they couldn't handle a bad Drake May game. They could not do it. The defense isn't good enough to handle it. And we were right. NC State came in there. I mean, they were the better team. And Carolina had a couple chances at the end there, but I mean, you kind of felt it. The way the game was going, you kind of felt it. And there was, especially after that Georgia Tech game, like anytime there's any kind of expectations around this Chapel Hill program, in football especially, it just doesn't work out. And it was frustrating to watch, so frustrating to watch, because you've seen Carolina all year and they squeaked out these close games, and then eventually the luck has to run out. So not too surprising, to be honest.
My one quick point on Drake May is, has he performed well against any decent defense?
I mean, you can argue that. You can argue that the ACC as a whole is in football is, especially Carolina's schedule this year. I mean, he's not deciding the schedule. He went out there and played who was in front of him. But when he did play, I know. He did. He's a freshman though. This is his first college football action.
I'm not going against that. I think he still had a super impressive year. He went beyond anybody's expectation.
Yeah, he won ACC Player of the Year today. And the thing is, just for him to be in the Heisman conversation, though, I was pretty impressed. But if they would have went out there and beat State and then beat Clemson in the title game, I think there would have been a real conversation, even with the loss of Georgia Tech. But everything had to fall into place perfectly for that to happen, and it just didn't.
My one question is, obviously we'll never know, it's probably a stupid question, is if you put those Clemson NC State games at the midway point of the season and he has to play a good defense midway, are we even really talking about him? Because then he probably crumbles against them. Because he went on the stretch of like 8-9 games where he was unbelievable, throwing 400 yards a game and running for 100.
Right. I mean, that's probably true. If you see those games earlier in the schedule, it probably takes him out of that conversation because he'll struggle in those games. But at the end of the year, that probably helps him because he's already played in those games. So it's kind of like a give and go, a little push and pull system. I don't know. I mean, overall, it's been a successful year, but it still feels like a little disappointing to have a chance to have one loss, and now we're already sitting at 3. Like, it's just,
Other thing, college football, South Carolina upsets Clemson. That was awesome. Spencer Rattler. I may have been wrong on Spencer Rattler. He might be good.
Oh my! This is like the Justin Fields conversation. We're looking at 2 games, but he did look good.
He looked good. Games. That's the thing. He didn't look anything like he has all year long. Like, he was throwing the ball confidently. There was that zip they always talked about in high school. That zip was on the ball against Clemson and against Tennessee.
Carter, is he going to the draft this year? Rattler?
No, I think he has one more year, doesn't he?
He's taking another year.
I don't know if he's going to enter the draft. I think he has one more year of eligibility, right?
Interesting.
Yeah,
I wonder where he's draft right now if you win.
I don't think the NFL teams are going to be too hot on him just over a couple of games, especially after what he showed previous in his career. I was going to say real quick, Carter, have there ever been 2 teams to limp into the ACC championship like Carolina and Clemson have these last few games? Because they have just barely made it over the finish line. And I don't know what to do.
So not 2, but the ACC, I get a mix up all the time. Which one's the one Carolina's in? The Coastal or the Atlantic?
The Coastal.
So yeah, the Coastal division is just playing roulette because, I mean, Duke's been to the ACC title. Pitt, they had different title winners for like 7 years in a row.
Yeah, it was every team won a year. Yeah.
Yeah. Every single team won 1 year, 7 years straight. Even Duke won one. Pitt won one. Carolina won one. This crappy Miami program won one.
Yeah, it is kind of Russian roulette with that. But just the ACC championship in general, like Clemson's on a big stumble. Carolina's limping into the championship game. We can get into the game later, but it just feels like, well, I don't know what's going to happen.
Anything else? Yeah. What's up, Dylan?
I do want to add something real quick. I think going back to North Carolina, Drake May, he was a good quarterback, but didn't get much recognition in the middle of the year. There were some talks of him for Heisman. He's someone that I want to note right now on the podcast when we record the preview in 8 months, 9 months for next season. he needs to be a name that's brought up for like a long shot Heisman winner preseason because
I don't think it'll be a long shot. I think he'll be in the top 5, 6.
I think he'll be in the top
Really?
5. Yeah, I think so too.
Okay. Yeah. Well, right now I'm going to bookmark this because he's going to be one that if I can get, 20-1 or whatever, he'd be one I'd be willing to take.
I think that's good value. I agree. I don't think he'll be that big of a long shot though, especially after being in the conversations at the end of this year. But we'll see. We'll see.
Last thing in college football, we'll talk about the NFL recap when we bring up teams going into whenever we talk about each game, we'll bring up a team, talk about the past weekend. But last thing in college football, Oregon blew it. Oregon choked against Oregon State.
That was rough.
Oregon State didn't attempt a pass on their comeback and still beat them. And then the other thing in college football, Notre Dame pooped the bed against USC. USC was the better team.
No.
What a great USC play. Great USC play.
Yeah, USC was the team. I'm telling you, they're the team of destiny, man. I know we're going to go into it here soon, but I would not be the one that would want to be standing against USC in these next few games. That's all I'm going to say.
I understand that we're probably using this as a segue into the Pac-12 championship game, but USC really did not outplay Notre Dame by that much. They had like 20 more yards, and they let Drew Pine throw for like 13 yards per pass attempt. I mean,
that defense is nothing special. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's true. The defense isn't great. It's just Caleb Williams making crazy plays. Like he probably solidified Heisman with that game.
Oh yeah, that's hard to argue.
Yeah.
Okay. I've heard discussions about this, but let's say he throws up a 3-4 interception, has a terrible game, loses them the Pac-12 championship. Can anybody beat him?
I don't see how.
Like TCU quarterback Duggan?
Oh. Oof.
If Duggan goes
if he goes out there and
400 or 500 yards. But anyhow,
it's still tough.
It's still hard to give it to anybody else besides Caleb Williams.
Are we ready to go into these games?
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right. Pac-12 championship, Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. I think it's key where we mention where these games are. So anyhow, Pac-12 championship in Vegas, Utah versus USC. USC is -2.5 over under 68. Dylan, start us off.
So last year, I was self-proclaimed Mr. SEC because I just nailed Alabama in the SEC championship, and then I nailed Georgia in the national championship, both like 4-unit plays. This year, I'm Mr. Pac-12. I'm going to be Mr. Pac-12 because I love Utah here, even at 2.5. It was 3 earlier in the week, but Utah just has the advantage where discipline is concerned and defense. They're the only team that's been able to pressure Caleb Williams. We touched on it briefly about USC's game against Notre Dame. They only outgained Notre Dame by like 30 yards. They let Drew Pine throw all over that defense. Utah committing like 20 less offensive penalty yards per game than USC. And I will give USC credit. They have a great offense, but the defense just does not do it for me. And Utah's been here before. Last year, they got to play in the first Pac-12 championship that was at Allegiant Stadium, and they won it. It's not like this is uncharted waters for Utah. So I'm all over Utah. It's a 5-star play. If you follow me on Twitter, you see where I rescinded the game of the year statement. It's back on. Utah plus 2.5 is the game of the year.
Wow. All right.
Wow.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm on USC, and I don't have all these stats to back it up. But here's the thing: if you think about USC, they win this game, they're in the playoff no matter what. And so, like a team that's got that in their mind, like win this game, you're in the playoff. Like first year, Caleb Williams, all the hype. I'm not gonna go against them. I've been on them all year, and they have not let me down.
Okay. Counterpoint to that though is the pressure's on USC. There is no pressure on Utah.
Still see. I understand your point. I'm still riding with USC though. I think Caleb Williams is that good. I know the defense is suspect. I just in a neutral site. I just think Caleb Williams and USC pulls this off. I'm already on the 2.5, so I'm taking that. It's not a max play, not a game of the year, and not by any means. I put like maybe 2 units on it, I think, but I'm on USC. And Grant, do you agree with me?
I'm with you, Connor. Look, here's the deal, boys. I know this Utah team better than most. And as much as Dylan wants to say he's Mr. Pac-12, bro, I know this team pretty damn close. So I will say this. You are right. The pressure is on USC. This is true. But in saying that, there is a revenge factor in this game. They obviously played the only loss they have this year is to Utah in a hostile environment. Pac-12 refs. They're literally awful. They're awful. Let it be known on this podcast, and everyone that listens, they're literally terrible, and they will always be terrible. But this just screams, I'm telling you, team of destiny. Like, media wants USC in the playoff, and I'm not going to bet against the fact. Like, I think they're going to make this happen. Like, regardless what we want, like, USC is going to the playoff. Like, I promise you, like, it's already written. I can already see it in the 4-team team right there. I see them in there. Caleb Williams is going to make some ridiculous play. You got to be betting against the Heisman favorite. They don't break down until they get to like the playoff or like the national championship game. That's like the Heisman curse, right? He hasn't gotten it yet. So I think he still plays a great game. I think the defense does enough. And I don't trust Cam Rising, to be honest, the quarterback for Utah. Every big game he's been in, he's choked. He has choked every big game. In fact, I was texting my buddy. I was like, okay, so the 3 best teams you guys have played, Oregon, USC and UCLA. Those are the 3. They've lost 2 out of 3 of those games, and they very easily could have lost all 3. So as much as, like you said, I love the discipline, and they keep talking about how they have a chip on their shoulder. It's such a worn out like talk. Like, look, USC is going to have plenty of chip on their shoulder. They got beat by this team. They want revenge. There's no, chip on their shoulder like factor going one way or the other. I honestly think USC covers the spread. I'm going to be hammering USC -2.5. I love it. I love that side of it.
Grant, Cam Rising won the Pac-12 championship last year.
Cam Rising has also lost against Florida in the swamp, which Florida is pedestrian at best. He lost to UCLA, got boat raced by UCLA.
But that's not a big game.
He lost them the game against Oregon when it came into the clutch throwing picks. Like, they call him Pick Boy for a reason. He's throwing picks in the most inopportune time. I'm telling you, it's going to come down to Cam Rising, and he's going to throw a pick to lose them the game. Well, heed my words. In fact, I'm probably going to play that as well. Probably going to play Cam Rising at least one pick.
So let me put this out there real quick. I'm leaning USC. I haven't put it in or anything. I'm also leaning over. I really like the over. I'm leaning USC here because what scares me about Utah is they cannot play away from Salt Lake City. When they play away from Salt Lake City, Florida lost. Yes, they beat Arizona State. Arizona State was a dumpster fire. That's when Herm Edwards was still there. UCLA lost. They don't even have fans. 0 people at the game. It was mostly Utah fans. Lost. And then even the USC game, and Dylan, we were on Washington State against Utah. That game was in Washington State. You know for a fact Utah should have lost that game. Washington State was right there. Utah was getting the benefit of the doubt with the calls, and the same thing happened in the USC game. Utah was getting bailed out with very questionable calls. Utah also, it was also an emotional game because their teammate died. They were crazy game, big game, nighttime in Salt Lake City. And USC arguably should have won that game. And then you look at the other games at Oregon with a injured Bo Nix. They still lost to them. They gave up 21 to Colorado. That game was kind of dead. Garbage points by Colorado. So I'll give Utah that one. And then they barely beat Washington State. They cannot play away from Salt Lake City.
They're on the road. They're rough. But I get what Dylan's saying where it's like Vegas is familiar territory. I get that. It's like a home away from home in a sense. I get that. But I will say this. Like, at the end of the day, man, like, I want to emotional hedge this game so much for Utah. Like, believe me, I want to be on that side too, just emotionally hedge the fact that if they lose, I win either way. But I cannot bet against this USC team. I'm telling you, I feel like they're almost like sharping in as one of the 4 teams in the playoff. I can't get out of my mind. I feel like they're like corporate networks, all of them want them in for sure.
I don't want to spend too much time on this game, but you're going to tell me that the media wants USC in over Ohio State?
Yeah, I do think that.
See, I think so too.
I think so.
Maybe it's just a West Coast big. I don't know. Maybe it's just a geographic thing. But
I'm telling y'all, bro. They're
storybook ending. Lincoln Riley goes to
Ohio State again. They want to see round 2, but I promise you, the Southern California market is begging for something, bro. And like the West Coast has not had a representative in how many years? Like, I promise you, bro. They want to get Southern California in there, big time.
So what's our bet? We feel so strongly. What's our bet, Grant?
I'm taking the -2.5. I'm taking USC -2.5. I'm taking them like to lay the points too.
I'm talking about you and I. I'll give them money. I'll give them to you money line.
Ooh, let's go. All right. So what are we betting? I take an under. You take it over.
I'm down with that.
All right. Let's do 2 since it's the game of the year.
Okay. All right. 2 unders or 2 overs.
Yeah, I'll give you 2 overs and you give me 2 unders. All right. I like it.
All right. There we go. I don't feel that strongly about this game where I want to do that, but I did want to bring this up, kind of transitioning into the other game. TCU or USC are going to lose this weekend.
I think so too.
I don't think both of these teams win this weekend. And let's talk about this game. We're going to skip ahead. I was going to do this one differently, but pull this up right here. The game's in Jerry's World, right? In Dallas. Yep,
yes.
In Arlington. All right. TCU minus 2.5 against K-State, over under 62. Connor, do you have anything in this one?
To be completely honest, I don't yet. So I'm going to see what you guys say. Carter, you mentioned it earlier. In past weeks, you've been on the wrong side of TCU a lot this year. I'm scared.
Mm-hmm.
I hit them last week against Iowa State. I was big on TCU last week. Easy game. I'm a little nervous this week because I've been on K-State a couple times this year too, and they haven't really let me down. So I have nothing right now. So I'm curious to see what you guys have to say.
Do we know if Adrian Martinez is playing? I haven't seen anything confirming.
I'll get stats department on it. Y'all keep talking.
I kind of lean over though, boys. I don't know.
62?
Yeah, I kind of lean a high scoring game because I could see this one for sure going into overtime. That's kind of what I'm envisioning for some reason. I see this game going to overtime, and like we talked about, TCU losing in a heartbreak, like field goal or weird touchdown, double overtime touchdown or something like that. I could totally see that game playing out in my mind right now. So I kind of lean the over right now, but I don't know if, like what you guys said, it kind of scares me taking a side because I'm already taking USC. And like you said, I don't know if both these teams are making it. And it feels kind of weird with that minus 2.5 on both games. Like, I feel like those both aren't going to hit.
And that, Dylan, back to your point where you're talking about how the media wants Ohio State in, they can get both USC and Ohio State in. I don't think that's a problem. I think TCU loses this game. I'm on K-State money line.
TCU is the ugly girl at the dance that nobody wants in there. Like, that's true. Like, I would love to see him in there, but the media definitely does not want TCU in there.
And they want Ohio State.
I don't know. I think TCU's got it made even if they do lose. I think it's really hard to argue with their strength of record and the schedule that they've played so far. And I do think they lose this game too, if I had to guess. I'm not going to bet on it. I think that if it got to 3, I think I would take Kansas State. But you got to keep in mind, the last time these two teams played, TCU played all the way through to their Kansas State's third-string quarterback. And that's just not going to happen again, I don't think. So Kansas State's defense much better than TCU's, better disciplined. I would lean Kansas State. If it gets to 3, I will probably take them. I wouldn't be surprised if TCU loses this.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I feel like I've said that 4 times this year, and here we are.
Yeah, we all have. We all said, oh, yeah, TCU's losing this week.
You know what? It's like a Mark Andrews touchdown, though. Eventually, it has to happen. Like,
no, it doesn't. It genuinely, it does not have to happen. Every week, I'm like, okay, we'll throw one unit, just one cute little unit on Mark Andrews touchdown. I have lost like 10 units just because of that one bet.
Yep.
I have a real quick note. Doesn't warrant discussion, just something to think about because I've been thinking about it. What if bookmakers or the people in Vegas were the ones that were ranking these teams in the playoff? Just imagine how much different it would look. I mean, I think Ohio State would still be ranked over Michigan. Georgia would be number 1. But something interesting to think about because TCU's gotten absolutely no respect all year. Would they even be in the top 4 if it was up to, the guy that was running Circa Sports?
Probably not. Probably not.
No.
It's just crazy how different it is. I was thinking about that today.
Yeah.
They were a 7-point dog to Texas. Like,
yeah.
And I don't know about everyone else. I was on Texas.
I was on Texas first half.
Texas first half, bro. That was on that list down, bro. Texas first half.
Anything else about the K-State TCU game? I like K-State. I think Martinez is playing, by the way.
I like Martinez. He's been good this year. I would lean K-State. I might end up taking it, but I would lean that.
Yeah. If it gets a 3, I'll take it, but I lean K-State too.
And the only thing I was going to say on Dylan's point was like he thinks they could potentially be in or have an argument to be in, right? If they lose this game.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you, I would put everything I own on the fact that they lose this game, they are not in. Like, history has taught us that TCU has not been given the benefit of the doubt. Like, the 3 different times they've been close, right? They did not get benefit of the doubt, and they will not in this. Right. They will get Ohio State in. They will get Alabama in. They will do anything they can to justify somebody else in. I promise.
Okay, so here's a different conversation. Should they be in if they lose?
Based on strength of schedule, yeah, right. But that argument will be. I promise you that argument will not. Like, I just know for a fact if they lose this game, they're not going to be in the playoff. It's just as simple as that.
Isn't that frustrating? They get punished for being in a Big 12 championship game. Because if the season ended and they aren't in a Big 12 championship game, they're in the playoff.
I think this is just
so therefore the loss shouldn't hurt them.
Yeah. I think this is just further evidence of like why 12 just sounds so fun, because like you're going to have so many qualified teams, right, that were so close. And those are the games that are, I think, going to be the most fun is the first round of games, right? The ones that aren't on the bye. Because like the ones that are on the bye, like Georgia, Michigan, like those guys, we know what they are. But the ones that are like, the close ones, like that's going to be a fun game. Like, because I honestly could see, one of these random teams sneak in there and like, get to play like in the 4-game playoffs. It'd be fun. Yeah. I'm just excited for it.
6-12 is always murky waters. Always.
Yeah. 100%. Let's move on. Clemson, Carolina. Clemson 7.5 over under 63.5 game is at Bank of America in Charlotte. Connor, I'm assuming you're on plus 7.5.
See, I wouldn't feel comfortable betting Carolina here, but 7.5, that's a lot of points. Carolina's lost their last 2. I think they can hang with Clemson. Clemson's looked very vulnerable at times this year. DJU's looked very beatable at times this year. Dabo, I don't know what's going on. I mean, I don't know if he just loves DJU. He's looked pretty bad at sometimes this year. I don't know if there's something wrong with the backup or if he's been any better in his playing time. I like Carolina here. I don't know if they're going to win. I think they keep it within a touchdown, though. So I'm on Carolina 7.5. I think they're due.
I see 8 now, too, by the way, boys.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That doesn't make me feel better. But the thing I like about Carolina is it means more to them. It truly does mean more to them. Clemson, I would be surprised if there were some opt-outs before this game.
For a program like Clemson, I don't want to say it's a throwaway year, but they definitely haven't performed to what they're used to. So
no, it's a throwaway year, 100%.
I mean, I don't hate that at all. Like opt-outs, that's probably true. And if you're looking at Carolina, they're a younger team. Drake May, freshman, like it does mean more to them. This is his first bowl game or ACC championship, excuse me. Like they're gonna have like some reason to play. They're gonna want to finish the season strong. I don't think Mac Brown will have a problem getting them amped up for this game. And I think on the Clemson side, you might be seeing the opposite.
I'm with you exactly. I don't have any stats on my hands right now, but I have not been a believer in this Clemson team much this year at all. Too many close games. If you even want to go back to the Syracuse game, they didn't lose, but they definitely looked like they could have lost a lot of point in that game. Yep. So, yeah, I'm on North Carolina here. I do think Drake May is a great quarterback. He's going to be a Heisman candidate next year, and he can take care of it, I think, against Clemson. Is this one of the does home team or like does the best record host this, or is it a neutral site?
It's at the Panther Stadium.
It's the Panther Stadium, yeah.
Okay, nice. Okay. Yeah,
site,
I like North Carolina.
So it's going to be a 50-50 crowd too.
It is, because that's pretty close to Clemson.
So, and Clemson travels pretty well, but nothing official in this game. I don't know. It feels a little sketchy playing anything.
I wouldn't even, a lot of people have been a lot on Carolina's over a lot this year. I don't even think I touched the total in this one because it could be a low scoring affair. Seriously.
All right, you guys ready to move on?
Only question I have for Connor is: are there any prop plays you like on Carolina's side?
It depends. If Drake May, I was gonna say if Drake May rush yards anywhere below 60, I think you take it. And even then, I still think he might hit it. In a big game like this, there's gonna be a lot of pressure. KJ Henry off the edge. Clemson's got a good D line. Carolina's O line has been suspect at times this year. I think he's gonna be running a little bit. He's gonna be scrambling out of the pocket, especially in a game like this. So Drake May rush yards, I don't hate. Also, Antoine Green, if he ends up playing receiving yards, if it's anywhere in 60 to 80 range, take it. Because he gets a 50-yard bomb thrown to him at least 3 times a game.
And those Clemson corners, they're all freshmen. Kind of suspect.
Exactly. I love that.
Let's move on. LSU, Georgia at Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta. Georgia minus 17.5, over under 51. I mean, the total kind of right there tells you that Georgia's winning this game. Like, what, 40-10? Like
17.5 is so many points, bro.
35-17.
I don't know. I'm not officially on anything in this game because I could easily see Georgia destroying them because of the line, but I don't feel comfortable taking 17.5 with Georgia.
Well, let me get the creative juices flowing for a second. LSU plus 10 for the first half. The last 2 games Georgia's played got off to real slow starts against Kentucky and Georgia Tech. I mean, they were they losing at halftime to Georgia Tech? I mean, it was pretty close.
No, but Georgia Tech did score a little bit in the first quarter.
Yep, it looks like 10-7 at the end of the first half. So I can see Georgia coming out kind of slow here in the first half. I think they pull away in the second half, as they have pretty much all year. But I think I'll be on LSU plus 10 for that first half.
Dylan, are you worried that Georgia comes out very fast blitzing? They're ready for these big games.
I'll be honest, no. I don't think so, because even I don't know. I don't have any stats on me. I'm just going off the last two games. I guess they did come out hot against Tennessee, but Tennessee is at the time a more respected team than LSU is now, I think, after their loss. I don't know. You bring up a good point. I think I'm still going to take the LSU plus 10 first half. Just chew on it and eat my losses if I'm wrong there.
I think that's a good play. I like the first half more than the total game.
Yeah, I don't hate that play. You guys know I love first half plays. I probably won't take anything. I'll probably stay away from this game. 17.5 is a lot of points. I almost lean LSU, but then like you guys talked about, and I like this Georgia team. It's hard to bet against them. 17.5 is so many conference championship game. But yeah, I'm probably going to stay away from this one.
All right. Well, let's move on then. Another game with a 17-point spread. Purdue, Michigan, Indianapolis, Lucas Oil Stadium, Michigan minus 17, over under 52. Basically the exact same spread in total. I kind of like Purdue to cover here. Is that crazy?
No, I don't think so.
Letdown spot?
It's possible. And Blake says he's ready to go for this game. I don't know if he is. He was supposedly ready to go for Ohio State. He played for 3 snaps and then he didn't see the field. What I will say is Purdue has like the 30th best run defense in all of college football, which isn't bad when you consider how many teams there are. Their pass defense is not nearly as good. So I haven't seen any book that has them out yet, but I would lean JJ McCarthy passing yards over. I think if anything, Jim's going to want to come out and put this game to bed early. I think he's going to have success doing it via the air, not so much the ground like Michigan likes to do. So I'm going to imagine it's going to open at like 199, maybe 220, recency bias. But I would take J.J. McCarthy over passing yards whenever it comes out.
Nice.
I know you're probably looking at me look away right now. Indiana team total at 7. I have it at 75, 73. They're at the line shooting too.
I know. I'm watching it too. I took it too. I have. Eventually, you have to just understand that watching every single Carolina game, they're going to come out flat.
Dude, are you ahead of me?
They just made 74 now.
Okay. We're at the same spot. But anyway, about this Purdue-Michigan game, Purdue comes out for these upset games. Like, they're a big dog. Purdue's a scary team.
No, their offense is – I bet the Purdue-Illinois over a couple weeks ago, and that was one of the easiest bets I've made in my life. Cash, by the way.
There we go. Well, I push. I have 75.
I have 74.5.
No.
Oh, man, that's funny.
Anyhow, do you guys like the over 52?
I actually don't hate that.
I don't know if I trust Purdue to score. O'Connell's not a good quarterback.
You guys do realize we have like 8 games to choose from, and we have to make a parlay out of it.
Oh God.
Oh well, I have my pick.
Is it LSU?
No, it's Utah.
Oh.
Ew.
Oh no.
I'm literally
because
bro.
I don't have anything more to add to the Michigan Purdue game, so we just get into the parlay.
This is a tough one. I don't know what to take on this one.
Cash.
I see it.
Let's go.
I don't know. A parlay. What do we do for a parlay this week? There's only a few games.
I've got a couple other picks in the smaller games. Yeah, I can make do.
Okay.
Let me get on here.
I also want to add
there's a decent amount of games.
While we're looking at what we're looking at, can we all agree that Sainer still knocking out the reception in the end zone of Egbuka was like the play of the game of Ohio State, Michigan? I wanted to bring that up, and I just remembered now in like the third quarter. That was so awesome. Oh,
were you freaking out?
That was by far the play of the game. I mean, if he catches that touchdown, it brings it into a possession. Oh, that was awesome. Because I thought it was a touchdown. I thought it's over.
Yep.
That was pretty good. I'm looking at picks here. I can't put Carolina in the parlay again this week. I can't do it. I won't. I will not do it. We can go over that real quick. I sold both parlays last week, so I'll own that. I'll take it. I'll take the heat. You know what? Up to this point, though, the last few weeks, my parlay picks have been okay. So I'll take the heat on this. I sold them both.
We've all had our moments, Connor.
We have. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning. Tell me if this is crazy. Carolina Clemson under 63.5 for my pick. I don't think it gets up there.
You know how I feel.
I just don't know if I take some in that game because I've had bad luck anytime I've put anything in the Carolina game in a parlay.
I like a lot of overs this week. So I mean, you could talk me into North Texas, UTSA, Utah, USC, K-State, TCU. I don't like that one as much. Or Purdue, Michigan. I kind of like all those overs.
Well, you're gonna have to love the TCU Kansas State one because that's the play, bro. I'm gonna put in the parlay.
There we go. Should we just do all overs?
Ooh, all overs parlay?
I don't have an over.
Dylan might choke.
Dylan,
I'll have
play
one.
for the parlay? What's your play for the parlay?
Not let me do Utah.
I don't think we can allow Utah in the parlay with three people.
I can't stomach the idea.
We have a second. We have a Grant versus Dylan bet behind that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much. I understand it's your game of the year, and I don't want to crap on that, but
it's also on Friday, so I would prefer not to have a Friday game.
Oh, you're right. Possible. It might get elevated to game of the decade by the time kickoff comes around.
Oh my God.
We'll see.
So game of the decade, that's minimum 10 units, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, minimum.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Minimum.
Oh man.
For my pick, I think I'm going to go Ohio +2.
Okay. All right. We're cooking here. Connor?
As much as I don't want to, I think I'm gonna take the under in Carolina Clemson.
Carolina Clemson under 63.5. Okay. And then I'm gonna go. I'll let you guys help me decide. Over in Purdue, Michigan. And then that game's on a Friday night. I was gonna say K-State money line or over in Purdue, Michigan.
I don't hate K-State money line, seriously.
I'm down with that.
So I'll have 2 in that game?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm done.
All right, there it is. That's the college football parlay this week. It is K-State money line against TCU, over 62 in that game. Clemson UNC under 63.5, and Ohio +2 against the Toledo Rockets.
We're getting down to the nitty gritty here. We're getting down to the last little bit here in college football.
I'll be honest, that's going to be a half unit play for myself.
Yeah, I don't feel as confident about that one. I'm not going to lie. Because
that's what it
we hit one. We hit one though. That's all that matters. We hit one this year. We're fine.
This is all gravy. This is all gravy from here on out.
True.
Before we get to NFL, are we gonna cover the Ohio State game or? Oh wait, they're not playing this week because they lost. I forgot. It wasn't in my notes, guys.
And they lost to Duke tonight in basketball. What a great week! Yeah.
Keep losing.
We kind of went through our picks. Does anybody have any picks outside of the games we talked about?
I'm on Carolina +7.5 loyalty play. I've also got a unit on the money line just because I have to. And then I'm on USC and the USC Utah over. That's my whole card this week. And then the parlay.
Let's go.
Everything we talked about, I'll be on Kansas State if it gets up to 3. I am on North Texas +8.5.
Okay.
You're going against my Roadrunners.
Yeah, I know. I was big on them last year too, but it's not the same.
8.5 is a lot of points. For a defense that's terrible, 8.5 is a lot of points. Both teams can put up points. I kind of like the over in that game. I think we see a lot of points on Friday night in those conference championship games. But anyhow, all right. That's it. Let's move to the NFL. All right, let's do the NFL. Before we start previewing games and everything, Matt Rhule went on Peter Schrager's podcast. I'll just play the clip for you real quick, and then we'll talk about it.
Thing you learned from your 2.5 years in the NFL as a head coach, and in the same vein, if you could do it all over again, what would be the one thing you would change looking back on it, as obviously it didn't work out with Super Bowl victories or anything like that?
I think it probably taking another job. I mean, it's a great place, the wonderful people, but I just don't know if I was a fit there. At the end of the day, we talked about it, 4 years, 5 year plan. If you tell me we got a 2 year plan, then I'm going to go get some free agents and do it. So, what was a 4-year plan became a 2-year and 5-game plan real quick. And
Interesting.
it's not about and I'm not angry about it. At the end of the day, I understand, but if it's going to be that quick, then we're going to sign some more free agents. We're going to go make the blockbuster trade. We're going to do those things. I think the trajectory that we were on was correct. It was to have a team that next year could maybe make a big trade that could, and I think you see the signs of it right now. When they play well on offense, they win. There's a good defense there. And I give Steve all the credit. I give the coaches all the credit, but I'm part of that building process. And that just stayed for maybe through this year and maybe the big free agent signing this year to get them over the top. I think that the Panthers could win the NFC South for years to come.
And they still might win it.
Okay. That part at the end, when he tries to take a little credit, is what bothers me.
That bothers me too. A lot of narcissism there, a lot of self-centered qualities right there for him taking any form of credit for the Panthers' recent somewhat of a turnaround.
It's all Steve Wilks.
It is.
It's all Steve Wilks.
And him coming out about the whole 5-year plan BS, whatever. Well, when you show no progress in 2.5 years, what are you going to do? Like, you get your choice at quarterback. You're the one who's deciding who to bring in. You're trying to put a Band-Aid on a bullet hole with the quarterback situation. He had a lot of say in that. I'm not saying it's all Matt Rhule, but he had a lot of say in that. And if he was showing substantial progress, linear progress, he probably would have been let go.
And then he also had the audacity to say he wasn't in charge of draft picks when he legitimately was in charge of draft picks. He literally was the one who decided, we shouldn't draft a quarterback. Let's go Darnold. We shouldn't do this. He's a literal phony. He's just he's a used car salesman as a NFL football coach somehow. His agent deserves he's the best agent in sports. There's no other agent. I want him as my agent. If I ever do anything, I want Matt Rhule's agent. He got an 8-year deal with Nebraska. You know what? He might do fine in college. He might. He did well at Temple. He did well at Baylor. Couldn't do jack crap in the NFL. He might do well in Nebraska. Who knows? But if you watch that Nebraska press conference, what's funny as a Panthers fan, every Panthers fan that watched that press conference just rolled their eyes and they're like, oh my gosh, the same bull crap. It's the same bull crap.
It is. And for a guy who just prioritized signing Temple and Baylor alumni in the NFL, like what do you really expect? I mean, that's all he wanted to do. The thing is, he can't take any of the credit, like I said, for this Panthers' recent turnaround, for their chance to win the NFC South, because he's trying to be like, I set up this roster so well and they let me go. And then now.
Then why didn't you do well with it?
And all my plans are coming to fruition. Yeah, give me a break.
The other thing I wanted to bring up about this, and then we'll move on. The fact that people wanted to bring him back another year, it was clear he was not the guy. It was clear there was no hope going into the season, unless you're delusional like me and can talk themselves into anything. Matt Rhule was clearly not the guy. He was a lame duck head coach. Why are you rolling into a season with a person you know is not going to be the coach at the end of the season? We all knew that. And you still give the guy a chance? Fire him. Let's go. This season
fresh off an extension too. Ugh.
This team is totally different if Matt Rhule is fired before the season. And everyone talks, you got to give this coach a chance. You got to give that coach a chance. But when you know it, like Cliff Kingsbury is not the guy in Arizona. He should have been fired before the season. And he gets the extension, which is crazy. And yes, he did make the playoffs. Cliff Kingsbury, whatever. That roster's frankly too talented to be as bad as they are. But that's the Cardinals. We're talking about the Panthers.
And Matt Rhule lost the locker room early on this season. Like, that's one of the main things you can't do in professional sports. We talked about it in the NBA, is to lose the locker room. You've got to manage the players' egos, have them believe in what you're doing. That's a major part of it, because at the end of the day, they're all professionals.
At the end of the day, as Matt Rhule likes to say a lot.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. I know.
He ran it like a college program. He was dictating social media posts, and there's a bunch of other rumors swirling around we won't get into from Twitter Spaces.
It's going to come out.
If you want to find out about all that other stuff, go on Twitter and just type in Matt Rhule. It was bananas today. But anyhow, moving on from Matt Rhule.
I do have one thing on it. So I was baffled, and I'm honestly baffled, because he said they would have made the big blockbuster trade, right? Did they not make the big blockbuster trade with Sam Darnold? I'm confused. Was that?
They made a blockbuster trade. It's called shipping McCaffrey to San Francisco. That was the blockbuster trade, but it wasn't in their favor.
No, I kid. Honestly, like you guys said, like putting the Band-Aid on the quarterback situation was 100% what they did. It looked like a program that like the Panthers looked like it was like fighting itself in direction. It felt very disjointed.
They were just grasping at straws trying to fix all their problems at one time. It just didn't really work out. And you knew it was from early on. If you have fans that knew it from early on, then.
Yeah.
All right. I have an idea. What if, hear me out here, Matt Rhule became the new spokesman of Flex Seal? You see him on those NBA TV commercials selling Flex Seal. I think he would be perfect.
He would be perfect because
He's
he
already
literally tried to use Flex Seal on his team the entire time he was there.
He's got the look down. He's got the look down already.
He's got the sales pitch because, I mean, my gosh, people still get fooled into it. But anyhow, let's stop talking about Matt Rhule real quick. The Panthers are winning the NFC South. I've been texting you guys all week. I've been tweeting it out. I even put it on Reddit. I have fully convinced myself into the Panthers winning the NFC South. Sam Darnold was throwing some dimes out there against the Broncos. A great defense, probably the best defense in the NFL, and he was putting on a show. He did.
He
and
was.
his under passing yards still hit, so it was a great
He looked
day.
great. He looked great.
He did. He was making some pretty good throws, and we saw at the beginning of last year. And that's what I was thinking. Like when he comes back, I wouldn't be shocked if he puts together a few wins. I'm sitting here with the Panthers.
A favorable schedule.
I'm sitting here with Panthers over 6.5 wins ticket from the preseason. So who knows?
I have my Panthers over 6.5. I doubled down on the division. Let's see here. All right, let me read you the Panthers schedule. Panthers, Seahawks. The line's currently out at 7.5. Love the Panthers +7. Kidding me? Coming off a bye. I think the Panthers win that game.
I took the Panthers already +7.
Dylan, yep. Geno Smith is a fraud. Geno Smith can't go against the best defense in the NFL against Geno Smith against the Carolina. Geno Smith against the Carolina Panthers defense. Something to be scared about.
Geno Smith's not a fraud by any means. I don't know about that one. You know me. I think the Carolina Panthers have a good defense. They have a good to, I will say, great defense. It's the offense that scares me.
Sam Darnold is good now.
Now, I will say, I remember sitting at a house in Pennsylvania. It was with one of my ex-girlfriends. It was Rose Bowl 2017.
Whoa. We don't like that.
We were watching USC Ohio State Rose Bowl, and I saw
big
Sam
Abby
Darnold.
fan over here.
You got that right. I'm a big Abby fan here too. But I remember watching USC play, and I was like, this Sam Darnold guy, like he's got an arm on him. He's going to be a good quarterback. And I think he's probably the best case scenario for the Panthers right now.
100%.
So
PJ Walker stinks. Baker Mayfield, his career's done. He's going to be doing progressive commercials as an extra. All right, let's go through this Carolina schedule real quick, and then we'll start previewing games. Pittsburgh at home. We can win that game.
Yeah.
Detroit at home, Christmas Eve. We can win that game.
Okay.
All right. You guys are cooking now.
I'm liking this so far.
At Tampa Bay, we already demolished Tampa Bay this year. Tampa Bay stinks. Our defense, if Brady gets pressure on him, he sucks this year. That offensive line in Tampa Bay is very sketchy. Brian Burns is going to get like 2 to 3 sacks on Brady. I think we beat him.
That's a loss.
That might be a loss.
That's one of the losses.
That might be a loss. That might
just
be
one of them.
All right. And then Carolina at New Orleans. Superdome scares me. Superdome, Andy Dalton, 2 ginger quarterbacks facing off. I don't know if that's ever happened before. So spooky stuff is going down.
I'm sure it's happened. Happened.
Has Andy Dalton ever played someone? Has
he ever played Brandon Weeden?
Dalton? Oh, Andy Dalton, Sam Darnold. Has that ever happened? It had to have, right?
Oh,
Probably.
had to. Bengals, Jets. Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. I'll have to get into research, see what happened in that game. But 5 wins in a row. We're 9-8.
Oh my, bro.
Yeah. That's the
schedule's
division.
favorable.
The division
schedule's
wins
super
at 8. If you win at 8-9, you win the division.
I agree.
And
There's
we
a
have
chance.
the tie. We have the tiebreakers.
That
division's
game against the
close.
Falcons where DJ Moore took his helmet off hurts a lot more now. They actually have a chance to win the division.
Yeah.
But we're also kind of in a great spot. We're already at a top 5 pick. If we lose against the Seahawks, then we can just tank and get a top 5 pick.
Mm.
Then we can take CJ Stroud.
So you can take CJ Stroud. Exactly.
And with CJ Stroud and then trade up for Will Levis. Let's just have a party. All right, let's move on.
Real quick, I got the stats guy on the Bengals Jets from 2019. It looks like we did have Andy Dalton versus Sam Darnold.
Who won?
The Bengals won 22-6. Sam Darnold threw for 239 yards. No interceptions, no touchdowns, 4 sacks.
See, that's not his fault. Zach Wilson's going through the same thing.
Well, it could be.
Zach Wilson's
Okay,
going through
all
this
right.
game.
It's not Zach's fault.
Look,
Real question, real
I'm
quick.
sure that Bengals defense was straight dog shite then too, bro. I bet you it was nowhere near what it is now.
Okay, but real quick about Zach Wilson. If he doesn't say that in the press conference, is he starting? Was he starting against the Bears?
No,
I
don't
think he
so.
is.
I don't think so.
And guess what? Newsflash: he would have won that game, bro. Like he's 5-2 as a starter. The only games he's lost is to New England. That's it.
He would have won this. Yeah, he would have won.
He would not have been the same stats, though. I can promise you that. He would not have thrown the same
I don't know
stats
if you can promise that. I don't know if you can promise that. That Bears defense is garbage.
I mean, they literally, it was wide open. Like, there's 5 yards of separation, I think, on the most they've ever had in the NFL this year. Like, people were so open, like 5 yards of separation in the highest clip in the NFL. That's crazy, bro.
All right, you guys ready to talk football?
Let's roll through some games.
All
Let's
right,
do it.
Buffalo, Thursday night, Buffalo at New England. Buffalo -4, -3.5 on some books. Over under 43.5. This line screams New England at home.
It screams New England, and that's what makes me think it's going to be close, and that's what makes me think under.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be any type of shootout, especially if it's close like this line suggests. So I've already got the under 43.
We might need to pause the recording. Dylan might have to change his pants real quick.
That was great. When unders are brought up and it's not me bringing them up, it's always a great time. No, I like the under too. I really like the Pats here. It's only like the 5th time in the last 5 or 6 years they've been home underdogs of a field goal or more. And you're giving me points with Belichick at home. I'm going to take that just about every time.
The only problem, Dylan, is Mac Jones looks atrocious.
But he didn't last week. He actually looked decent last week. Now I will say it's the Vikings defense. I understand we can get into the semantics there, but I'm in the camp that Josh Allen's not 100% right now, and the Bills are missing Von Miller. So when we get a matchup like this, you're getting a divisional underdog at home. The defense and offense on the opposing team are banged up. The defense is the great equalizer for these dogs. And the Pats, they're allowing the least amount of defensive penalty yards. They're applying pressure on the quarterback, and they're not blitzing that much. They're not losing their backs in coverage. I like the Pats here. And it's actually, if you're listening to the podcast, a little preview, this is the best bet that I submitted for Thursday Night Football at Action Network is Pats +4.
Hey.
Okay,
Good.
so a couple things real quick. One, I like the Pats here too because the Bills' run defense kind of stinks, and Ramondre Stevenson is going to ball out in this game. But what scares me is I don't want to hit submit on a Patriots +4 ticket, and then the Bills just rout. The Bills just have one of those Bills games, win by 28, and I just sitting there feeling like an idiot. Like, wow, I really bet on Mac Jones over Josh Allen against this awesome Bills team.
But then you just rationalize it as you're not betting on Mac Jones. I'm not betting on Mac Jones. I'm betting on the Patriots.
But you
defense.
still are. Whether you like it or
No.
not, Mac Jones is still going to be your quarterback on the team you bet on.
You're betting on Mac Jones, but not for Mac Jones.
There you go.
When you bet on the Panthers, were you betting on PJ Walker? Were you betting on Baker
Absolutely,
Mayfield?
I was.
No, you were
Absolutely, I
betting
was.
on the defense.
Nope, I was betting on those guys because
I was betting
very
on Matt
much-
Rhule and his plan.
Yeah, Jay-Z.
There you go. I also, real quick, I want to add one more thing on this game. Josh Allen and Mac Jones interception parlay +187. I will be taking
I
that.
love that, bro.
I will be taking that.
What's
I
Mac
love
Jones's odds, or Josh Allen for that rather? What are the odds?
Josh Allen will throw a pick.
They're both the same. They're both like -140.
I don't like the
Damn.
juice, but I kind of want to take
Allen's the
Josh
highest-
Allen.
I think he's still highest, right, in the league throwing picks. He's been throwing.
Yeah. Yeah, but then parlay them. You get plus odds. I mean, the
Grant, what do you
Patriots
want?
now have 12 interceptions a game. Their defense.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have talked about it. I don't like betting against Belichick. I've learned my lesson this year. I've been beaten into submission again, especially
I warned you.
games. You did. You tried. And I tried all the reasons, like you said, to try and justify against it. But he finds a way. I swear, I don't know what's wrong with this man, but he does something, bro. Like, he does something in these games, and I don't know how to describe it other than it's like magic in the dark kind of magic, bro. It's the worst. I don't know what he does, bro. I don't get it. So I can't bet against it. I don't know if I'm necessarily, this is a screams live bet to me, like just to see who comes out and bet the other side. But I can't bet the Bills, and I don't want to bet the Patriots yet. So I'm kind of just stuck.
Patriots
do like
not
the
official
pick
play.
I like the pick plays though.
I do like the pick plays too, but Patriots not an official play for me. It's a lean. Let's move on. This is potentially game of the year. Maybe Jordan Love in the Green Bay Packers against Trevor Siemian, maybe in the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field.
Bro,
Jordan Love might be a 4.5-point favorite in the NFL.
I'm seeing 5.5 at FanDuel.
I see 5.5. Yeah.
I see
5.5.
4.5.
Okay, action. I'm looking at action, so probably a bunch of different odds there. So 5.5. Does that mean is Rodgers playing?
I don't think
we just don't know at this one. I kind of just want to take the over.
Because Justin Fields not playing again, right?
He might.
He's
questionable.
He might.
It's sketchy. It's sketchy news all around. It's a little Gordon Hayward Hornetsy news all around.
Yeah, exactly.
This play screams the Packers, bro. I don't know how you can bet on this Bears team, bro. Their defense is awful.
Christian Watson anytime touchdown.
Awful.
Hot take. We saw Mike White come out there and tear up the Bears defense. I think Jordan Love, if he ends up starting, I think he'll have success against
anyone could tear up his defense, bro.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's a bad idea. If Aaron Rodgers is only 60%, I think he has to play just because if Jordan Love plays, he's going to play well against this awful Bears defense. And then every Monday Morning Football is just going to be, is Jordan Love the guy in Green Bay coming up next on Get Up?
Yep, 100%.
I don't have a play here, but I do want to say Jordan Love looked like a completely different Jordan Love last week than he did last year in that game against the Chiefs. I mean, he had some zip on the ball, and I won't overreact or say anything that he should be the starter, but he looked a lot different than he did last year when he played against the Chiefs.
Yep. I agree.
I think this for me, I think I'll make it an official play. I'm probably going to play the first half, and then I'll probably play both, to be honest. But I think Green Bay is going to, like, I think the Bears are so bad. Like, I think they're terrible. Without Justin Fields, they have no hope of covering the spread.
All right. Sounds good. Let me keep going here. Get this pulled up. I don't have an official play. I just wait and see injury news. I mean, you got to lean the Packers. Bears overs are like the best bet in sports. I mean, they just keep hitting. It was 36.5, 37 against the Jets. I mean, hit no problem. Let's see here.
If they announce Fields is playing, I'm going to take the over instantly.
Yeah.
Kind of love
That's
that.
smart.
Denver at Baltimore. Baltimore minus 8.5. Over under 38.5. That is disgusting. This game screams tease the Ravens, but the Ravens, like,
I'm not gonna lie.
Trust them against a good defense, but this Denver team is physically incapable of scoring 17 points.
Mm-hmm.
So all the Ravens have to do is score 20 points and they win this game.
I'm taking Mark Andrews' touchdown and I'm chalking up my losses and moving on to the next game. I'm serious.
This is, I don't know. I have the Ravens winning this game by like 13, but it's just tough to bet on the Ravens right now, especially the way they play in the fourth quarter. I mean, there would be nothing more frustrating than betting on them and then losing it in the fourth quarter.
It'd be like a little backdoor action, yeah.
Okay, hear me out. Wait, Dylan. So you're saying you have them at like 13, you have your models?
Yeah, my ratings, my Wilkerson ratings, yeah.
I need to start my own rating system. I want to start doing these models. See, like, I'm just like, oh yeah, I have the Panthers as -3 against the Seahawks. I'm getting great value at +7.5.
That's pretty good value.
Sounds pretty emotional to me.
I'm just going to put it into an Excel spreadsheet. Just go into Google Images and put like a graph in there that looks really confusing. Type in NFL, like, and Carter's NFL model. And then everyone's going to be like, oh, wow, his model says that the Panthers should be favored in this game.
Houston Texans are favored by 40 against the Cleveland Browns. Like, wow, I'm the value here. Oh, gosh.
The model had Cleveland winning. The ratings had Cleveland winning last week.
And they did.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Shout out the Browns.
Screw Denver, bro. I will never bet on them this year again. Yeah. I've already made that announcement here.
I have that clip for you if you ever need it.
I need it, bro, because that's screw Denver, bro. Like, they're terrible. But like you guys said, how do you take -8, bro?
I'm not touching the game.
That might be
that's
a tease though with them and the Jets. We'll see. I could make that
kind of
up.
tempting. The Jets. Oh, we'll get into that then. Washington at the New York Giants. Washington minus 2.5 in New York, over under 40.5. This Commanders team looking a little frisky.
They are, and 40.5 is such a low number. So like my first instinct is take the over, and then I really thought about it, and I was like, I don't think I can do that.
You like your money too much.
I don't think I can do that.
I think I like the Commanders here, though. I will say.
I'm
Giants
with
are
you.
looking a little fraudish.
Yeah.
I'm
The
with you.
Giants
here.
are frauds.
I think Chase Young's supposed to be back for this game too. There's no way, if that's true, there's no way the Giants move.
Okay, hold up. Time out. I've heard that from this podcast for the last 4 to 5 weeks that Chase Young is playing in this game. And I have yet to find out if Chase Young has played an NFL game this year.
Hasn't. He has not.
No, he hasn't yet.
He has not.
Every week we bring up the Commanders, like Chase Young is back. Does it change your mind? I'm like, I don't know if he's actually playing because you said the same thing last week.
We were playing against the Giants, who are actually like right now, bro, trending crazy down. Injuries, everything, bro. They can't move the ball.
But if Chase Young is playing, that does make me like the Commanders more, obviously.
I would lean the Commanders as well. It's 2.5 for a reason.
I like Commanders. I like under. The Giants are going to have to run the ball. They've actually had success running the ball. I think that's what they're going to lean towards. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it well.
Might be some long possessions is what I'm hearing.
Some clock-killing drives that end in a red zone turnover, baby.
Guys, Giants might not win another game this year.
Let's look through their schedule. Let's go schedule hunting.
Let's
Let's
go.
see
I'm
here.
pulling up right now for you.
All right, I got it right here. So they have the
Okay.
Commanders, then
Read
the
them out.
Eagles,
Loss.
then the Commanders at FedEx Field.
Okay.
I don't know if they beat them
Loss.
twice.
And a couple broken ankles.
Yeah, I think they split that.
I think they split the Commanders.
Definitely torn ACL in that
But
game.
you could see them losing both. You could see it happening.
Okay. Minnesota.
Loss.
Us.
In Minnesota. The Colts in New York. That should be a win.
Could be.
Could be. Jeff Saturday, come on. Like you gotta learn the clock.
I'm serious though, bro. I can
And then the
see
Eagle-
not winning another game the rest of the year. bro.
And then the
It's
the
crazy.
Eagles in the last week. The sketchy thing about that Eagles game is people might get benched in that game because they're not going for an undefeated season. And by that time, the Eagles should have max 1 loss, 2 losses. So they're going to have the number 1 seed wrapped up in the NFC. So they should probably bench people in that game.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I think about.
It's just crazy to me that this division just a few years ago was like the worst division in the history of sports. And now
That's so
all
bad.
4 of those teams have a pretty good shot to make the playoffs. That is
Hey,
crazy.
we got that crown, baby. NFC South representing out here.
NFC
Yeah,
South is straight.
It's shifted, that's for sure.
But yeah, Commanders minus 2.5. I think that's an official play for me. Let's move on. Dylan's Tennessee Titans against the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly. Philly minus 5.5. Over under 44.5. I'll start off here. I kind of like the Titans.
I love the
Not-
Titans.
Yeah, not a bad play. I don't have any stats on hand, but the Eagles, their run defenses looked a little sus at times. And if there's one thing that we can do, it's run the ball. So Vrabel's great as an underdog, covers, wins. I always think of that 49ers game last year when we were like 7-point underdogs and we won. So taking the Titans because I'm a Titans fan, but other than that, I don't know if I'd be taking anything.
Dylan, I saw a little stat that caught my eye, tickled my fancy, dare I say. Mike Vrabel, 21-7 against the spread. It's a 3+ point underdog.
Oh,
Pretty
that's the
good.
stuff, man.
Ooh,
That's the
that's
stuff
money.
right there.
Pretty good.
I think we see a little bit of fraud in this Eagles team too, similar to the Giants. I think they're still good. They'll win the division, but I think they've definitely been playing over their heads.
For
I think
sure.
so too.
For sure.
Yeah, while we're on this game, I'm already on the Titans plus 5.5, and I even sprinkled a little on the Titans money line, just to sprinkle.
Ooh, there we
A little
go.
dabble, yeah. But
Bro,
I
this
put
is a
little
game
bit
to
on the
probably
Titans money
tease. Give yourself an extra 7 points for the Titans, bro. Oof, I love that.
12.5. I actually don't hate that. I don't see the Titans getting blown out in this game.
line. No, they will not get blown out. There's no way. The way they play doesn't really allow for that.
I don't like the sound of that.
How does
How does that
not
not
hit?
hit? The famous last words.
How does that not hit though?
We need to make that.
Oh gosh.
That's good. When we
Connor's
open
like,
up
they will not get blown. I'm like, oh.
when we open up the merch store, that's the first T-shirt going off the shelves. Is how does that not hit though?
It's gonna be on my tombstone, bro. How does that not hit though?
How does that not hit? Oh, that's good.
All right. Well, Grant, I think you're ready for this one. The New York Jets at the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings -3, over under 44.5.
Ooh.
Man, I kind of like the Vikings. Or sorry, I meant the Jets.
I do like the Jets, boys. I do like the Jets. Look,
No way. I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Couple of reasons, boys. One, defense. Like, Jets defense is always going to be consistent. Like, they are not giving up more than like 15 points, I think, right now, or 14 points. Like, it's unbelievable. So it just depends if Mike White can score, enough of points. And so if we're talking 17 to 20 is all he's got to get. And Minnesota has I think it's 31st worst passing defense. Like, they're awful in the passing defense. So he can tear them up. So I don't know, man. I kind of like the money line, the Jets, or teasing them, getting the extra touchdown. Because again, Minnesota plays every game close. So you're telling me I'm gonna get points against a Minnesota team, and I personally think that the team itself is going to be able to play like the Minnesota Vikings, like pretty close, and if not actually beat them. I kind of like it. I kind of like the 3. I'll also take a couple prop plays. I think Garrett Wilson gets a touchdown. I'm going to play him for a touchdown, anytime touchdown player as well. I might play as well Elijah Moore, because he seems to go to Elijah Moore as well. So I might play both those, but I'm definitely playing Garrett Wilson. That's a guarantee, like 3-star, 4-star, whatever you want to call, like anytime touchdown play, like for sure.
Whoa! A 4 unit for 4 units for yourself.
Yeah, I love that play. I love Garrett Wilson right now. He gets open, and like I said, their pass defense is awful. Now, the one thing that concerns me is we don't necessarily know yet really what Mike White is, because last week, let's be honest, any quarterback could have gone out there and done well against the Bears. Now, in fairness to Mike White, he did have the best game according to stats against any, like, best QBR, best PFF grade, whatever you want to say, against the Bears. But also, this is a depleted Bears. It's not the same Bears team that everybody else has played. So there's a lot of factors going on. I need to see it this week with Mike White. But again, if he's playing against one of the worst pass defenses, I just don't see how he doesn't play like at least like semi-competent, right? Like that to me seems like it would be odd. So defense is going to keep him in it. Give me points against his team anytime. Like, I'll take the points all day. So I'm taking.
You're not scared of little Kirk Cousins 1 p.m. primetime showing?
The new nightmare.
They'll definitely score. They'll score points. But I'm just telling you, man, like,
points? Does that mean over?
I almost don't. Yeah, I honestly don't hate the over, even though it is the Jets defense. Like, they're going to bracket Jefferson. Yeah, it's hard to say, but I think overall the favorite bet is just take the points with the Jets and just live with it, because I could see them lose. If they're going to lose, it's going to be a close one, and I think I could see them winning straight up.
So the one thing about Mike White, you talked about Mike White, the Jets, whatever, it's going to be different against the Vikings. Is it going to be that different against the Vikings? I mean, we saw Mac Jones play just fine against them last week.
I just said, yeah, I could see he's going to play well. Like, they have one of the worst pass defenses in the league. He's going to be fine. Like, he's going to be able to throw the ball. It's not the question. It's just he got away with a couple throws that definitely could have been interceptions against the Bears. And I don't know if those are going to come back. So, like, that's the only thing that scares me. Is like, if he throws a couple quick picks, this game can get very iffy real quick. But again, the defense is so locked down. Even if he does, I see them only giving up field goals and not touchdowns. So we'll see. But I like the Jets with the points.
Anybody else? Jets, 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 anybody?
No,
I can't.
Yeah, no official play. For what it's worth, the Wilkerson ratings do have the Jets winning by about 1.5, so covering by 4.5, and the rating system is undefeated in all of the bets that it's won. So,
wow, very good note there.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
2 things. I kind of like either Thielen or Hawkinson anytime touchdown. Jefferson's going to be locked up by Sauce Gardner. Don't love that. So kind of feeling. Another T-shirt right there.
Maybe
Thielen anytime touchdown. Add it to the card. All right, let's move on then. Jacksonville at Detroit. It's a pick 'em. Over under 51.5. I can't figure out this game. I wake up one morning, I'm on the Jags. I go to bed that night, I'm on the Lions. I wake up, I'm on the Jags. By lunch, I'm flip-flopped. I can't figure out this game. It's in Detroit. I don't even know if that sways me or not, but this feels like the 1:00 Sunday afternoon game that all of a sudden it's 24-31 in the second quarter.
Here's the thing. I'm on the Lions. It's one of my favorite plays this week. I think it's one of my favorite plays this week. I think people are overreacting a little bit to last week. Jags had that comeback win against the Ravens. There's a little bit of hype there, some lust there. Their defense sucks. The Lions' offense is not terrible. Not terrible by any means. I like the Lions here. I think they come out at home and beat the Jags, especially in a pick 'em. You tell me I don't have to give them any points.
There's a reason it's a pick 'em. It's a coin flip.
Talk either way.
I think you could say the same thing about people being too high on the Lions after playing the Bills as close as they did on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, anytime touchdown, book it.
That's interesting.
He's going to run one in. You know it's true.
I don't know. I'm on the Lions here. That's all I got.
I think I'm going to differ from you, Connor. I think I'm going to roll with the Jaguars. I don't love it, but just to help your play out a little bit. Someone's got to be on the other side of it. I'll probably put a unit on it just for the hell of it. I might be right.
So. I lean the Jags, and I'm probably going to go with the Jags. Like, my gut says the Jags, and then my lines tell me, no, the Lions. They played the Bills tight. They're at home. They got a good offensive line. Jared Goff isn't that bad. I can't decide. Let's move on, though. This is the weirdest game in a long... Oh, wait, Dylan, did you have anything on the Jags?
No, nothing. I won't.
Okay.
I lean Jags, but I won't bet it.
This is the weirdest game in the NFL in a long time. Cleveland at Houston. And if you're not a super diehard football fan and you don't know, Deshaun Watson got accused, convicted, I don't know what the actual term is, of, assaulting these women. Well, 10 of them will be at the game in a suite at NRG Stadium in Houston. This is his first game as a Cleveland Brown. The Browns are favored by 7. Over-under is 47. This is going to be a weird freaking game.
I think this goes one of two ways. I think the Browns win by 28, or they just lose. They just lose outright.
It does feel that way, doesn't it?
It does. I think Deshaun Watson's either going to come out there fired up and just dominate, or he comes out there, he's probably going to be rusty. He looked bad. He did not look that good in the preseason, and very limited action. Didn't look that good in the preseason.
And the other thing I want to mention too is, like, when these guys take off these years, like whether it's through suspension or it's through holding out for a contract, kind of like Le'Veon Bell, they never come back the same they were.
Yeah, and this is a very emotionally charged game. Like, the Texans defense, if we're just looking at it from an outside perspective, they suck. Texans suck in general.
Yeah, let's just get this play out of the way. I'm going to take Nick Chubb rush yards, and I'm going to take the alternate line over 150 as well. And Chubb's anytime touchdown is probably going to be like minus 180. It's going to be absurd.
I might do 2. I might do the 2+ touchdowns.
That's why I kind of want to go Kareem Hunt touchdown anytime as well.
I don't hate that. I think they lean heavily on the run game, kind of to reacclimate him. I don't know what to do here. Like, part of me wants to say Cleveland -7 just because Houston's been that bad and Deshaun Watson is a talented player, but he hasn't played football in so long. I don't know what to do here.
But the only reason I say the Browns, I kind of want to tease the Browns and the Ravens. One, because I think the Broncos are just so bad, and the Ravens at home, I think, are a lot better than they are on the road. Broncos anywhere stink, except London for some reason. Maybe they should play all their home games in London. Different story.
Maybe more people would show up to Russ's birthday party in London.
But how are the Texans going to stop? How are the Texans going to stop this run game?
I don't think they do. They can't.
Not many teams can.
And the Texans are the worst run defense in football. It's hard to go against the Texans.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Or go against the Browns rather.
I'm leaning at -7 now, bro. With all that, because it's what Connor said. I think they're going to run the hell out of the football, bro, to get them back into it. Like, they're going to own that line of scrimmage.
Just so take out all the emotional part for a second. Just from a strictly on paper football perspective, this is a great game for Deshaun Watson to come back to.
Yep.
There's not a lot of pressure on him to throw the ball and make a lot of plays. They're going to lean heavily on the run game anyways, especially against this worst Texans run defense.
But you can't say all this without the emotional part being in there. And the NFL did this on purpose. They knew that they
100%.
They were like, all right, if we're going to suspend them, let's, at least get some storylines out of it. Let's put them in Houston.
I'm not going to bet on Kyle Allen. I think I'm going to take the Browns -7. I think I'm going to take the Browns -7. I really do.
What's the first half? Hold on. Let me see this.
Oh.
If it's like
I don't know. The Texans might come out feisty in that first half.
I see 4 and 3.5 for the first half in favor of the Browns. I think I might take the Browns full game.
Dylan, Dylan,
I'm sitting this one out. Nope, I'm sitting this one
You're
out.
not even doing a Nick Chubb prop?
Yeah, I might take. No, I'm not, because the last time I took a split back system against the Texans, I got screwed. I'm not doing it.
You
Brian
know what I
Robinson
don't
came
hate?
in clutch last week for me.
I'm curious to see. This is a weird one off the top of my head. I'm curious to see what Kareem Hunt rush attempts is, because he hasn't had that many lately at all. And if it's like 8 or 9, I think I might take that.
I don't hate that. You guys ready to move on?
Oh yeah.
This is, I would say, it's the second biggest game of the week. Miami at San Francisco. San Fran -4, over under 46.5. Dylan, take me away.
It's the Dolphins' first real test. Can they do what they've done against bad defenses to a good defense? And we saw it last week against the Texans. Put up 30, took out everybody, took out Tua, I suppose, the future MVP. And they didn't score anymore. So it will be interesting to see, because I think the 49ers have the best overall defense in professional football. I like the Dolphins here. If you're going to give me a field goal or more, the fact that they haven't lost a game with Tua starting when he's played a full game, that's enough for me. So I'm taking the Dolphins here plus the points. Maybe a little money line. We'll see.
If you like the Dolphins, I think it kind of goes hand in hand. The Dolphins are good at putting up points. I know the Niners defense is elite. 46.5. If it's a close game, I don't hate the over there.
The Dolphins defense is bad too. It's not that good.
I'm not saying it's going to be a shootout, but if we like the Dolphins, I think that goes hand in hand. If the Dolphins win, I think the over hits.
So I think Grant's going to like what I have to say a lot here. I think this is a live bet game. I think this is a big-time live bet game. If the 49ers go up early, make it like 14-0 early, I think then you hit the Dolphins, get them at like +10. I think the Dolphins keep this remotely close.
I do too. There's just a lot of big play potential. Like, I think I might take the over. And I can't believe I'm doing that against the 49ers at home. I might take the over.
I don't hate that, bro. It's 46.5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the only thing I lean, because I can't read this game, man. I want to lean the Dolphins with the points, what Dylan said, but man, dude, like
the Niners are going to put up points too. Like, the Niners are going to put up points. The Dolphins defense is nothing crazy.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
I don't know. We'll see. I lean Dolphins here.
I'm with you, Connor. I kind of like the over this one.
Both teams are looking at 7.8 and 8.5 yards per pass attempt. That both top 10 in the league. That's a huge indicator for an over.
Yeah,
I like that.
Maybe I'll play the over.
And they both just have those weapons. Like, if you run a screen pass to Tyreek Hill, he can bust it 50 yards. Same thing with Deebo Samuel. Like, they have that big play potential that a lot of teams don't have.
Yep. I want to work this take into existence for the rest of the year. We're going to be seeing a lot more overs. The unders had their chance. I think the books have just adjusted, and just every year it feels like these things always regress back to the mean.
Oh yeah, the books are not going to get destroyed like this on the unders. It's going to even out. You know what? Like this makes no sense, and probably has no statistical evidence. But Christmas Eve is going to have a lot of overs, and I have no stats to back that up. But Christmas Eve overs.
Put it on a shirt. Print the T-shirt.
We've got 3 T-shirts on this one, and I have one in the back burner that
I would for sure buy Christmas Eve.
I've got one too.
That's awesome.
It's got to hit eventually.
It's got to be like a letter to Santa. All I want for Christmas is overs.
Yeah, or it's like I'm so due, and people are like, "What do you do for?" And you're like, "That's you never know."
It's for you to decide.
You wear it at the bar trying to pick up a chick, and you're like, "I'm so due," and they're like, "Due for what?" It's like, overs.
How does that not hit though?
It's open to interpretation.
Yeah, there you go.
Both teams convert really well. 40+% on third down too.
Oh boy,
this over is so spicy right now, bro.
All right, let's add it to the card. 2 units on the over.
You know what? Forget it. I'm putting it in the parlay.
Let's go.
Don't spoil the people.
Carter, I think you may have missed a game of the 1 o'clock slate. And that would be the Steelers and Falcons.
I did. And that's 2 weeks in a row we've done that.
I know. I had to save us real quick.
All right. Pittsburgh at Atlanta. Over under 42. It's basically a pick 'em. Pittsburgh -1. I see a pick 'em on a couple of books. I I like the over, but I'm curious why it's only 42.
I mean, I'll keep this short and sweet. I'm not betting a thing in this game.
I actually, Carter, I noticed you skipped this game. I wasn't going to say anything because I didn't care about it. But
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm
just
sorry.
kidding. I'm just kidding. This is the game I'm slated for, and
wow.
yeah, and I have no clue what I'm going to take. I've stared at Pro Football Reference for hours with this game, and nothing pops out to me. So probably Kenny. Oh no, because
Kenny
Atlanta's
Pickett
defense
rush
is
yards?
so bad. I was going to say pass yards under, but Atlanta's defense is so bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's going to be a game time decision.
Where can people find that article when it comes out? And what's your record on the year?
Record on the article picks 10-3-1. It'll be on my Twitter, actionnetwork.com. It'll be out Sunday morning at 10 Eastern. I don't know. I have no clue what it's going to be, but you can find it on my Twitter at Wilkerson A. Dillon.
Just follow Auto Tail. Auto Tail, you're winning money, just like the parlay this year. You're just winning money from this podcast. We're the sharpest NFL podcast out there. Grant, do you have anything on this game?
No, gosh, no. I can't even be a homer in this game. It's just.
But
so
what about the over? What about the over?
Would I be convinced in it?
We used all our overpowers on the Niners game.
42, bro.
Grant's a Falcons fan. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
Grant's a Jets fan.
No, his
I'm
first
like,
love was an Atlanta Falcon.
yeah, 28-3 broke me though. I'm not gonna lie. That's about as bad as I can get, dude. In fact, I saw. I won't go too far into this, but Frank the Tank did a thing for the biggest choking teams, and he put Atlanta Falcons number one out of all sports franchises, and I was like, 28-3 is pretty bad, bro. That's like
I don't know.
bad.
I feel like the Bills might have to be one. 4 Super Bowls in a row.
Yeah, but I mean, 28-3 is so bro, it's so bad. But yeah,
And
42. I don't hate that, Carter. I don't hate that.
I think the Steelers, like, I mean, they can put up points. Pickett can
Kenny
sling it a
Pickett.
little bit.
Oh, yeah. You know Kenny Pickett.
I just don't think I can play this game, bro. If I'm, I can't touch this game.
I'm
bro.
not touching the game.
All right. You guys can
Actually,
touch me.
timeout. I'm riding whenever Dylan picks, and then that's it.
It's true. If you actually take one, I'll probably tail it. But other than that, I don't even know what to do with this game.
See here. All right. We'll run through this one real quick. Seattle at the Los Angeles Rams. Going to be a heavy Seattle crowd there. Over under 41. Seattle minus 7.5. 7.5 is, I don't like that. Like, it feels like too many points, but Bryce Perkins, is he starting?
Yes, I think Stafford's still out.
So, I mean, how you can't take the Rams here. You're crazy if you take the Rams. I don't like laying 7.5 with Geno. I mean, they've looked shaky lately. Am I allowed to tease the Seahawks?
Bro, we have way too many teaser references right now, dude. It's out of
Like
control.
Seahawks Browns teaser? Is that crazy?
You don't have to tease anything, bro. In fact, my play I'm gonna make a gross play for our parlay just because we've talked about it so much, but I'm not gonna give it up yet. But you don't have to tease the Browns, bro. Just don't.
But what about the Seahawks?
What if you just saw a game and you're like, God, nothing looks too good in this one. Let me just take a step back.
What a noble idea.
Just kidding, guys.
I did that in Pittsburgh, Atlanta, but this Rams team is really, really bad. I don't know if we see McVay next year. Obviously, he's not going to get fired, but I really see he'll probably leave and go do TV.
Yeah,
Amazon's going to give him an absurd amount of money to be a part of their fake halftime show.
They're going to add the crew of 10 people they have.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Bro, if they had like 40 people, it's something like Super Smash Bros. Like all the characters they have over there. It's so out of control, bro.
Sean McVay's still blacked out, like waiting to be unlocked, and he'll be unlocked after the season. So,
Yeah, what is up with all these like pregame and halftime shows having 13 people on?
it's just too much, bro. Because I'm like, who am I supposed to be listening to? And they're all like dying to say something and waiting to say something. And then like by the time they get to their point, they're like, they have some ridiculous take that has nothing to do with the other. It's just bad, bro.
Okay, hear me out. What if it was just a halftime show and it was 15 minutes straight, no commercials? It was Bill Walton and Lee Corso.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
I'd be anywhere but in front of my TV.
Yeah.
What do you
Bill
mean?
Walton
That would
is
be great.
a national treasure.
Someone here doesn't like Bill Walton.
I can't stand that dude calling games.
Nobody can, bro. That's what makes it so great.
It's the best. What are you guys talking about? It's hilarious.
I'm not getting into this again.
I love when he's like, "Oh, like I've never seen," or like the first time I've ever seen him shoot, he's amazing. Like well, this is the first time you've seen it. It's just he's so.
So he shot that lay with his right hand. You know who else used to do that? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar back in 1975 for the UCLA Bruins.
Yeah, like okay.
And you know where UCLA's from? Those letters, they're also in UNC. Like they start with a U. Like, oh my gosh.
No, it's more like when he talked about Dave Cowan versus the Lakers. Puff Johnson against Alabama.
Oh man.
I don't know why you guys are.
Podcast after dark right now, dude. Y'all getting extra money out of your
Yeah, I know, dude. This is double over. We're in quadruple overtime ourselves. Okay, Seattle game, nothing. If you guys play anything, you're crazy. Kansas City at the Cincinnati Bengals. This is the game of the week.
This is one of the games, bro.
KC in Cincy -2 over under 52.5. Dylan. I kind of like the under.
I don't hate that. I'm not playing it, but the Bengals own the Chiefs. I mean, they own the Chiefs. Last year, they owned the Chiefs, and I'm right back on the Bengals. I think they're sneaky, one of the better teams in the AFC. I'm going to go ahead and rattle this off. They're going to win the AFC. They're going to be back in the Super Bowl this year. They are a good team. And when they're healthy, their defense is probably the most slept-on unit in all of professional football. I'm going to take the Bengals with the points. I'm going to take the Bengals to win. Chiefs offense, I understand. They're very hyped up. They're very good. Patrick Mahomes, great quarterback. Kelsey, far and away, one of the best receivers in all of football, and he's a tight end. Their offenses looked a little sketchy at times, not being able to score on Tennessee specifically is what I'm thinking. So I'm all Bengals here. All Bengals, they're going to win. They're going to cover. They're going to do everything.
I like the Bengals here too.
I'm also on the Bengals plus 2.5 already.
Grant. What are you on?
Damn. All three all on the Bengals.
I like the Bengals here. I don't know. I might even sprinkle the money line now that Dylan said something.
I do understand the argument for the Bengals. And like you said, the Bengals have owned the Chiefs 100%. Man, dude. This to me is like, I'm 100% not going to take anything pregame. I'm going to take something live here. I'm going to hammer it. But like I'm actually hoping the Chiefs go up early so I can take the Bengals and get like Bengals +7 or something like that, or Bengals +5, +6. Like that's what I'm dreaming of. That's what I hope happens. But,
that might be the play.
Yeah, but that's obviously contingent upon them starting hot. Like we'll see. But I can't take anything pregame. But I understand you guys' logic with the Bengals. It's probably a live bet for me.
In Cincinnati, I think that helps my play a lot. I lean Bengals here, but man, Gray, you kind of talked to me into waiting for the live.
Is Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon both coming back this week? Because I've seen
Chase, yes. Mixon is.
I saw he was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Mixon should be back. Let me talk to some inside sources real quick.
Opened at 3. That's worth adding too. It opened at 3. If it's getting down to 2, that's moving within the key number. So that's pretty big too.
Right now he's questionable, but I think they said he's like on track to play.
They both practiced today.
Yeah.
All right. So they're gonna probably play.
I might have a few anytime touchdowns in that game.
Yeah.
I think that's the play. All right. Chargers at the Vegas Raiders. Chargers -1.5. Over under 50.5. These games are weird whenever the Chargers and Raiders play. Like anything can happen. I kind of lean the Raiders here.
Yep. I agree with you.
Listen,
Josh Jacobs is going to have a field day.
The Chargers are dead to me. The Chargers are dead to me after last weekend. They're dead to me. I hope they lose every game the rest of the year. And Justin Herbert's my fantasy quarterback. I don't care. Screw the Chargers.
So is Carolina football dead to you too? Because they also folded the parlay.
No, Carter. No, they're not. I'll never let them die.
The parlay.
Oh yeah, they bent the parlay over. Oof,
I want to go over 2 in this game.
I mean, they Deshaun Watson that parlay. Sorry.
Yeah, Carter divisional overs have done very well historically.
Ooh.
Are you being sarcastic here?
Yeah. Divisional
yeah.
overs?
Over 50.5.
I'm not touching this game.
Oh,
I'm going
no.
to get mine out of the way.
You going under?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to do anything. I would lean Raiders. I would lean Raiders here.
I kind of want to take the Raiders. Raiders aren't playing for any. I mean, they don't have a draft pick, so they're got to try and win. The Chargers, I'm sorry, but the Chargers, if you can only win by 1 against the butthole Arizona Cardinals, I can't believe in you.
Yeah.
And they're healthy now. The Chargers are relatively healthy now.
They're just missing Mike Williams, which that's a big loss, but like for the most part.
He's back this week, isn't he?
Is he back this week? He probably is.
They always say he's back and then he plays 2 snaps and then he's out the rest of the game. You see him with the helmet on the sideline in full uniform. I lean Raiders there. I think I will take the Raiders, but that's a big anytime touchdown game. Josh Jacobs might be my favorite play of the week for an anytime touchdown in that game. Let's move on. Indianapolis Colts at the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys minus 11, over under 43.5. I know we say the T word a lot, but a 10-point teaser looks kind of good here with the with the Cowboys.
Bro.
Okay, let me read you off a teaser then, Grant. You get the Cowboys minus 1. You like that? Do you like that?
Kind of.
At home, the Colts stink. All right. We get that. So we can either go Dolphins, Niners over 36.5.
Ooh, I love that.
Titans plus 15.5.
Love that.
And then you could get like Baltimore plus 2.5. You could get the Jets plus 13. The Cleveland Browns plus 3.
Sheesh.
There's 10-point teasers. They were awful all year. I mean, I think I've done maybe 1 or 2. I think they're sneaky back this week.
You take 4 of them, 4 games?
No, 3. I just gave you 4 though.
Yeah, this game is a for sure stay away in 10-point teaser, whatever you want to call it. This game is just a bad line, bro. Like you're giving 11 points. Who wants to bet on the Colts? But I'm definitely not going to take, lay 11 points with the Dallas Cowboys. This is such a stay away game for me, bro.
I don't know what Jonathan Taylor's prop's going to be. Sorry to interrupt. I might
You're
take the under. If it's anywhere near like 90 or 100, I might take the under.
I would. Oh man, this one's tough. I would lean Dallas. I probably won't take it. I have Dallas winning by 14. They should be a 2-touchdown favorite. I will add Dallas loves to blitz, and they've had extreme. Obviously, this is going to sound dumb, but they've had a lot of success against teams that don't handle the blitz well. The first one that comes to my mind is the Minnesota Vikings. The Eagles are a heavy blitzing team, and we know what happened when they played the Vikings. So it looks like here the Colts. They 5.9 yards per passing attempt under the blitz, 6.9 under a normal rush, 4 interceptions under the blitz. So I lean the Cowboys here. I probably won't take it because that's a lot of points, and I don't like taking that big of favorites. But I would lean Cowboys.
Does it look like to y'all that it hurts Matt Ryan to throw the football? Because I watched the game last week, and it looks like it just hurts him to throw the ball more than 3 yards.
That's every Colts quarterback the last 5 years.
That is the craziest.
They need to stop going the vet route, bro. They legit need to draft.
Yeah, they need to go with the Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold route. I mean, we'll give them buy 1, get 1 free over here. You know what? Buy 2, get 2. Buy 1, get 2 free. We'll throw in PJ Walker in there for you as well.
Jimmy G might be
Give me Zach on the Colts, bro. That good running game, I'd love to see it.
PJ Walker doesn't run the ball.
They don't teach that in the XFL car.
True.
All right. Saints at the Bucks, Monday Night Football. I believe it is. Yep, the Bucks are minus 3.5. I'm going Saints here. Saints own Tom Brady.
That's a good point.
The Bucks stink.
So the
I think if Chris Godwin's reception total is anywhere below 7, I'm taking it and putting 3 units on it. That's the only thing I'm going to do in this game. Probably. I might live bet it. I might live bet the Saints. We'll see. I think the Bucks could score first. So I might live bet the Saints.
Saints.
We take some Hill and 10 touchdown on this one, boys.
Now we're cooking with gas.
And then Zach to ride the bench parlay.
Yeah.
Zach to ride the bench.
Mike White anytime touchdown.
What's the number of snaps Zach Wilson has the rest of the year? Over under what? 0.5.
Ooh, that's a good game.
It should be over under 0.5, right?
Does he come back in the game this year for the Jets?
I don't think he does.
What if
I
Mike
do.
White just completely poops the bed?
I think he comes back.
Okay, real quick. Hey, give your pick on the Saints game, and then We'll talk about the Jets real quick.
I lean
Anybody got anything on
the
Saints
Saints
game?
with you, Carter.
Saints plus 3.5. Let's go.
It's not a
Dylan.
play though, but I lean it with you.
I'm on the Saints, but my biggest play in this game is the under. Bucks can't run the ball. Saints commit the second most offensive penalty yards in professional football. Both score in less than 35% of their possessions. I'm just reading off my stats. Bucks allowing scores on 29% of their defensive drives. And this is the biggest one. Saints allowing touchdowns on only 48% of their red zone trips. That's huge. That's huge.
And I'll be 100% honest. I watched, a decent chunk of NFL Red Zone last week. I didn't see one snap from that Saints-Niners game.
13-0, baby. That's real football. That's hard-nosed real football right there.
Big Ten, Iowa football.
Mhm.
That is disgusting. That is
Hard-nosed
gross
smash
football.
mouth football.
I want
Wait,
my
that's
Wake
supposed to be
Forest.
played.
Dylan, this
I
is why
want
you
my
can't be
Wake
Mr.
Forest.
Pac-12 right there.
Yeah.
You don't speak Pac-12 football. You speak Big Ten football.
That's almost even more insulting when a guy like me can claim to be Mr. Pac-12.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
All right, real quick, talking about the Jets. So we've set the Carter Cast Sportsbook has set Zach Wilson's total snaps for the rest of the year over under 0.5. So does he get into a game? Injury into concern? Probably that he might get in because the O-line's terrible for the Jets. Mike White might get injured. Let me read you the schedule. They play Minnesota. I don't think Mike White gets benched in that game.
He won't lose his job in that game.
No, hopefully
The
that game.
only game the rest of the year I see him getting benched in is
The Bills.
next week against the Bills.
Yeah.
I don't
If-
even think Zach Wilson's active for the next couple of weeks. I'm gonna be honest. He was inactive this past week. I don't
Yeah.
even think they have him active for the next.
But look at
couple
the
weeks.
game. Isn't Detroit after that?
Detroit,
Yep.
their defense stinks. Then it's
That's
the Jags
perfect game to have him come back, mechanically sound. If you play the
At
next
home?
game, right? No, here's the thing. Zach Wilson actually he was fine in the Bills game when they beat him. He was actually very efficient, had
Yeah, he was
105
fine.
QBR or something like that. He was fine. It's just I don't think they're gonna, like you guys have said, I don't think they're gonna bench my wife in the next 2 weeks, but I could definitely see him do 2 and they go 1-1, and then they're like, yeah, he's ready by the Detroit game. I could see that.
On action right now, they probably don't have a real line. I don't know. Sometimes their lines are weird. It says the Jets, you can get the Jets minus 2.5 against the Lions right now.
The Jets minus 2.5.
Minus 2.5 against the Lions at home. That's
Oh
2
my.
weeks from now.
I'd hammer that.
I don't think that's all. I haven't seen it on FanDuel. We talking about week 15.
Yes.
I
real question-
looked today and it only goes to week 14 on FanDuel at least.
The real question though is if he does not play, let's assume he gets, goes under. He does not play another game this year. Is he traded at that point to another team?
I think he has to be.
If
'cause
he
you
doesn't
can't-
play the rest of the year, then yeah, I think he's done.
Okay, so you have this little catch-22 here because I'd almost rather keep him because it seems like it's inevitable that the Jets are going to trade for a Derek Carr, Jimmy G type quarterback.
Yeah.
Why not keep him? He's cheap.
Yeah,
He
he's
doesn't
super
really
cheap
cost.
right now.
He doesn't really cost you anything, and he still
But
has that
if he
potential.
doesn't play-
and he can learn behind a guy like Derek Carr, Jimmy G.
If he doesn't play, I think their camp is going to be pissed. My guess is they're going to be like, we want out.
Yeah.
I don't know
Probably.
if they'll grant it. I don't know if that's. I can't speak for them, right? I don't know if that's going to happen. But that's
I thought you were in Zach Wilson's camp.
I'm there. I'm just not there. You know what I mean?
He's in spirit. They're in spirit.
Yeah, I'm selling merchandise for them. You know what I'm saying, for their camp. But that's it. No, but for real, I mean, it would be interesting. Obviously, there's so many hypotheticals. It's like, how do they do the playoffs? If they do make the playoffs, how does Mike White play in the playoffs when they lose, right? There's so many things that happens there. So it's hard to guess. But if he doesn't do another snap, he doesn't play another snap for the Jets this year after going 5-2 as a starter, I just don't see how that can be. I don't know, man. I think at that point, it's like, he's like,
They're not going to bring him back as a starter.
That's what I'm saying. If you don't let him play at all for the rest of the year, it's like you're basically saying we're done for this.
And
thing.
you're kind of right. It does feel like if they don't bring him back in that Detroit game, it's kind of over.
Yeah, because if they have Mike White play that game, and then the next one I think is also against a bad team.
The Jags, and then
Yeah,
the Seahawks, and then the Dolphins.
yeah. So if you bring him back, you got to bring him back to Detroit. Otherwise, I think you've lost the opportunity to bring him back. because Mike White's going to tear up Detroit. Like anyone that's quarterback is going to tear that up, right? So like that's the problem.
All right. We're gonna do the parlay and then we'll bounce out of here. We did all the games right. I didn't skip over any of them.
No,
right?
I think we did them all.
Okay,
Yeah,
I was going to
all.
say we ran through. We did all of them. It felt like it. All right, NFL parlay. Someone give a pick.
Ooh, can I start?
Go for it.
I'm going to muddy this water before we even begin with this parlay. Just make it so gross. So we were talking about the Browns game, and I need to play in that game, and I want to add in the parlay. So I'm going to take Browns the first half -4 against the Texans. The Deshaun Watson
I kind of love that though.
coming out party. No pun intended.
What kind of party we talking, Grant? Dylan, you got one?
I do. Give me Bucks Saints under 40.5.
Ooh.
Is that Monday or is that Sunday?
That's Monday. That's Monday.
Are we allowing Monday?
Let's do it.
Last time we did this, it hit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
don't-
Chiefs.
The Titans and the Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
No, that was Sunday night.
Was that Sunday night? Oh,
That was Sunday night. We've never won a separate day parlay.
well, you know what? We're so good and so sharp. We need another challenge. So,
All right, that's fine. That's fine. Let's go for
I like it.
Bucks Saints under. You said 40.5.
Yes. Yeah. 40.5.
Okay, let me write this down. Bucks Saints under 40.5. And then Browns first half. We have -3.5 or 4.
4.
I see them both.
Okay.
Depends on which book. So
I'll take 4. I'm not scared.
Let's take 3.5. Let's take 3.5 just to make it look better. Connor.
So, Carl, let's chat. So right now we have a favorite and an under. Now I'm looking at an over. So do you have a dog or no?
I have an over. I was leaning towards, but I also have a dog I like. So
Ooh.
If someone doesn't do that one game, I like the over on the
No, I'm leaning the Dolphins. Niners over.
Dolphins Niners over.
yeah, that one. We need that game.
We talked about it a lot.
all right, that's
I like
fine. Go for it.
I'm putting it in. I'm going to say Miami Dolphins, San Francisco 49ers over 46.5 total points.
So
Good
I
game.
feel like I definitely think like both of these. I think the Kansas City Cincy game and the Niners Dolphins game. I don't think both of those go over. I think one of them goes over. I think one of them's kind of a dud. I'm not taking KC Cincy under.
Okay.
I'm going Raiders money line.
Oh, okay.
F the Chargers.
I love it. I
Okay.
love it.
Get this right
Cool.
here.
Get a little value there.
46.5. Raiders. What's Raiders money line at?
Plus 105.
Yeah, baby, I like that.
I'm going to go ahead and give this one out for free while I can because it's not going to stay at this. Patriots -2 week 14 against the Cardinals. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me right now?
Where's it at?
It's in Arizona.
I don't think that matters.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. Monday night. Come on. Give it to me.
Ooh, I don't know. There's the Patriots primetime kind of looking a little shaky. Remember the last Monday night game they played? Yeah, Patriots primetime, not very good. Bears, they got destroyed by the Bears.
They
Thursday
did.
night, lost to the Vikings.
Yeah, but Mac Jones had his best game of the year.
And they still lost. But I love the pick, by the way.
I do like the pick.
All right. That is the NFL parlay this week. It is Bucks Saints under 40.5. Browns first half -3.5 against the Texans. 49ers Dolphins over 46.5. And then Raiders money line against the Chargers. It's going to be a little more than 12-1. I got a little dog in there. Get a little dog.
I got to
little
say,
bark, bark.
every week we do the NFL parlay, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm feeling pretty good every week.
All right, we need to do a long shot parlay. We need to do a long shot parlay because we haven't done like a Mormon money line parlay kind of thing. We need to jazz one up. I'm doing it on the spot. I didn't prep you guys for
Are
this.
we talking anytime touchdowns or like what?
It can be whatever, but we need to cook one up. We need to get these people like a plus 6,900 winner. You know what I'm talking about?
Garrett Wilson anytime touchdown, bro. Throw that in there.
Okay. I'm gonna.
Should we just do an anytime touchdown parlay?
Let's do
I
it.
like
Anytime touchdown parlay. Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson, 100%.
Are odds out on it yet?
Let me see.
No, I don't see any.
Okay.
Yeah,
Probably
those,
not on
those usually
FanDuel.
don't come out till after Thursday Night Football.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Bro, this thing keeps logging me out. Not cool.
I'm
No.
I'm on. Are you on FanDuel?
Probably.
Connor?
Yeah, I don't see anything. They're usually not out for.
Oh, they're out.
No,
Garrett Wilson anytime touchdown for sure.
really?
It's plus 155.
Garrett Wilson?
Yes.
Oh, yep, I see him.
Wow.
No.
All right.
Wow.
All right. We're gonna start cooking this right here. Garrett
All right.
Wilson. Plus 155. I kind of
Where are you seeing this at?
I clicked on the game. TD
On
score
FanDuel.
props. Yeah.
I don't see it.
Some like Dolphins 49ers doesn't have it up yet, but I see it on some of the games.
Oh, okay, that's what I was looking for. Is the
Well,
Dolphins?
let's Connor, Mark Andrews is plus 105. That's disgusting.
I'm not touching that in the parlay. I kind of like. It's not out yet for this game. I kind of like a Jalen Waddle anytime touchdown.
Ooh. Has he been playing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's on my fantasy team. He's been putting up numbers.
He's been doing well?
He's been putting up pretty good numbers. Yeah,
Nice.
I think it's gonna be pretty locked in on Tyreek Hill. They have one of the best 1-2 punches at receiver in the league, probably the best. I like Jalen Waddle anytime touchdown.
That should be plus odds as well.
I
Dylan,
think
you
it
got
sh-
anything
it
off the
should
top of
be
your
as well.
head?
No, man, not all these games have them up yet.
I was mainly looking at that Browns Texans one.
Ooh, you like Kareem Hunt?
What about Josh Jacobs?
I was gonna get a little spicy and potentially do Trevor Lawrence,
It would be spicy.
but we get those odds really juiced up.
I thought you said Josh Jacobs was your favorite play.
I do, but I think it's gonna be like minus 140, minus 150 though.
It's a parlay, bro. It don't matter.
Are we all cool with that?
We want the hit, right?
All right. Josh Jacobs. Dylan, you gotta hit me with something. Even if you don't have the odds, that's okay.
boy.
These are the present bets he doesn't even want to dabble in.
Jeez,
You look miserable.
I
I
he
don't
looks
know.
so sad he has to do this right now. It's like, F me.
no Thursday night.
No, because some of them might not be out.
Okay.
Just take Joe Mixon and call it a day.
I'll go. We'll go Jamar Chase. I'll go Jamar Chase first game back.
Ooh.
I thought you were gonna go a little Dare Bear Henry.
Oh, that's gonna be like minus 500
No, it's not. It'll be
against
like
the Eagles. That'd be like minus 1,000.
Then take it. Because it's only going to be like minus 180, 170. No, we'll go Jamar.
I want to go Jamar. Yep.
All right.
All right. That's
Joe
this is the
Shiesty.
first time we've done this, I think.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
a fun play.
All right. Anytime touchdown parlay for the first time. Popping a cherry here. Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle, Josh Jacobs, and Jamar Chase. That's hitting. That's hitting.
Four A-list players. That's got to hit.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
that's for our VIP customers. You're listening to this on Patreon. Subscribe to the Patreon. All right. We have anything else?
Nah, Jalen Waddle's due. Hasn't scored in the last 2 games. He's due for a touchdown. So I feel confident.
No.
Josh Jacobs against a terrible rush defense. Garrett Wilson. I mean, that's Mike White's clear favorite receiver. Jamar Chase coming back. Gonna put a statement game on the Chiefs. All right. That'll do it. Dylan, Grant, Connor, thank you. It's late. It's 1 a.m. on the East Coast. Thank you for staying up.
Grind.
Make sure to check out all the social media. The clips are going up like crazy right now. We got them all prepared, ready to roll. We're going to do 1 to 2 clips a day going up TikTok at CarterCast. You know the whole drill. CarterCast.com. Writing picks and blogs. My blog picks are kind of back. I'm kind of back. I'm kind of hot. I went 8-1 yesterday. I went 1-0 today. Just one big play was
Big sweat too.
Indiana.
Big sweat play.
Indiana, Carolina, Indiana team total over 75. Bang, cash while we were recording. So there we go. Thank you for listening, and make sure to subscribe, rate, and review, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.